Thursday, 9:40 p.m. You've been staring at the same screen since dinner. It's a task you've done 100 times, and still you can't make yourself start. Then the thought, what's the point? That's the part that gets you. Because you weren't always like this. You used to stay late. You used to take on more. You used to keep pushing when things got difficult. Now you're wondering, maybe I'm getting lazy. Maybe I just don't want it badly enough anymore. But what if that's not what's happening? What if your brain has started running the numbers? By the end of this video, you'll know exactly what changed and how to take it back. This didn't happen all at once. It built up, one letdown at a time. Beat what your brain expected, and dopamine signaling tends to spike. Oh, that actually worked. Let's try that again. Fall short, and dopamine signaling tends to drop instead. You studied for the certification exam for 8 months. Didn't pass. You put your name in for the promotion, polished the pitch for weeks. Went to someone else. You stayed up until 2 a.m. finishing the deck for the team, and the credit at the meeting went to the person who talked the loudest. Once, you shake it off. Twice, it stings. Enough times, and your brain starts leaning toward a new prediction. This isn't paying out like it used to. There's a name for the gap between what your brain expected and what actually happened: reward prediction error. And when that pattern repeats, the pull to try again can start to fade. That's when thoughts like this start making sense. What's the point? Why bother? It'll probably fall through anyway. Your brain is learning from the pattern, and that's why just push through it isn't the answer. You've already tried pushing through. Your brain remembers what happened last time. Heard that before, nothing changed then either. But there's another problem. When effort keeps feeling unrewarding, but you still can't walk away from it, that becomes another source of stress. And prolonged stress can make it harder to turn an intention into action. You know exactly what that email needs to say. This isn't even a hard one, and your hands are still on the keyboard, not moving. Just start. You've told yourself that before. Same words, same tone. It still doesn't work. Here's why. Behind your forehead is something like a manager. Your prefrontal cortex plays a big part in running it. It's the one that says, okay, reply to that email. Done. Now open the report. Start the next section. Most days, you barely notice it running. It just happens. But under prolonged stress, chemicals like norepinephrine and dopamine can shift outside the range where the prefrontal cortex works best. A little stress can sharpen you. Too much for too long can interfere with the very circuits that manager needs to keep you focused and in control. The cursor just sits there, blinking. That's not a lack of willpower. That's stress chemistry getting in the manager's way. And this is where the problem gets more serious, because if this goes on long enough, it can stop feeling temporary. It can start to feel like the way you are. You've probably heard of learned helplessness. Psychologist Martin Seligman coined the term. But 50 years later, Seligman and Stephen Meyer came back to the theory and said something surprising. The original theory had it backwards. The idea wasn't simply that the brain learns, I can't do anything. In situations where you have no control, passivity can become the default response. Simply put, you stop trying to change what happens next. You stop taking the next step. But here's what matters. The brain can also learn the opposite. My actions can make a difference. When you've experienced that kind of control, it can push passivity back. And that's exactly what we need to rebuild. Not more pressure, not another pep talk, control. So, how do you rebuild that sense of control? You don't fight it with more pushing or another pep talk. You start with something you can actually change. Make it small, make it immediate, make the result visible. Have zero motivation to work out? Decide to take a 10-minute walk. Then take the walk. You decided, you did it, it happened. Have a side project you've been putting off? Write down the first 3 steps and save the list. Now, something that wasn't done is done. That's the experience your brain has been missing. I acted, something changed, and you build from there. But there's another trap that can keep you stuck. You keep asking, why did this happen to me? What did I do wrong? Why did I do that? Those questions can feel productive because they make you think you're solving the problem, but they keep you stuck in something you can't change anymore. So try a different question. How do I want to move forward from here? Now, you're not asking your brain to explain what went wrong. You're asking it to figure out what comes next. And when you start planning toward that future, you're putting that manager, your prefrontal cortex, back to work. That's how you start getting your sense of control back. You were never broken. You just got used to expecting less. So tonight, don't wait to feel ready. Somewhere out there, it's 9:40 p.m. Same tab, open since dinner. And this time, you already know where to start. Your actions still matter. Tell me in the comments, what's one thing you can change right now? And if this finally made sense of something you've been feeling for a long time, subscribe. I'll see you in the next one.